some of the big picture stuff. Tennessee gets beat by Ole Miss. And for Chris Beard and company, this is a mega win at home. They win this game, hang on, 78-76 for Tennessee. It's their first loss in a couple weeks, and as like we've mentioned a couple of times, not the end of the world losing a game this time of the year, especially on the road. And they got South Carolina coming up this weekend, so they'll be able to cleanse their palate and get right. But I think for me, at least, this was bigger. It was more about Ole Miss, and Brakefield off the bench had 19 points. Matthew Morrell, who's been there for a while, 12 points. Dre Davis had 13. The guards played well. Malik Dia had 13 points and 5 rebounds. Dre Davis also had 10 boards. He pulled in a double-double. Good win for Ole Miss in a crazy environment that I was saying to you guys off the air. I remember not long ago when, 500 people would go to Ole Miss basketball games. So certainly Beard has changed it, CJ. A quality win for them. Exactly how quality of a win for Chris Beard?
Well, I mean, anytime you can beat one of these like top 4 teams in the SEC, I think it's a really, really big win. And Mississippi, it been a minute since they got a really good one. Like I don't think they've beat a top 25 team since February 4th. So they could use one of those quality wins going into the tournament. They got another really tough one on Saturday at Florida. But that could be one that maybe if they're between, I admittedly don't look at brackets. I don't like the bracketology stuff, but maybe that's a seed line bump getting that win late in the year. Because Tennessee, like that's a high quad 1 win. So really good moment for them, especially on their senior night. Tennessee, like you said, I don't think we're too worried about them, but they do go for stretches offensively where, they go for stretches where they're not scoring. They scored it pretty well tonight, but I don't feel like in the tournament, I don't feel as good about Tennessee as I do maybe, team we were talking about earlier, Florida. But this has still been a really, really good season for Rick Barnes, and I think he's done a great job with this group. But, offensively, they don't – like their big men, you can't really count on them to get buckets. There's so much on Ziegler and Chaz Lanier's plate and Jordan Gainey, like those 3 guys. They basically need all 3 of them to be hitting. It's almost, talking about like Maryland can't afford one of those guys to be out. Like Chaz, Zakai, and Jordan have to be pretty good game in and game out.
They do. And I think everybody kind of wonders with Tennessee, what it's going to look like. Will they be good game in and game out? Because we're getting to the point, John, where the pressure's on. They've had a great year, but everybody always talks about Rick Barnes in Tennessee being good, but not good enough to win the big prizes. So we're getting close to some answers.
Yeah, I mean, for this game in particular, I was kind of locked in on. I mean, they couldn't guard Brakefield. He is why Ole Miss won, and I talked about it before we got on air. Like they gave up so many and ones. You have to foul. Like when you foul, you have to foul. Like you can't just slap on the wrist. And so they lost by 2 points. I mean, there was a lot of plays in that game that Tennessee could have taken the foul or followed through on a foul and not gave up an and one. I mean, I wish we had the stats. I mean, field of 68, Rob and Jeff, need to hire a statistician team. You know what I'm saying? I'll give back some money, man, so we can have these guys typing stuff up while we're on the air. But yeah, like they had to give up more and ones than probably I've seen this all year. So a team that definitely can go on laws, and Chaz Lanier as well, man. You look at him and he kind of just fades away a little bit more than you want to for a guy that they're looking towards to score and lead them to the top. I think he only had maybe 2 points in the second half. And like, Chris said, like if Lanier and Ziegler aren't putting the ball in the hole, which Ziegler kind of struggled today, this is what happens. They can lose. And you look at it now, 11-6 Tennessee. Ole Miss is 10-7 in the conference, 21-9, 24-6. Like, Ole Miss is a sneaky team, right? That I don't know what their seed line is per se, but if you got to see this Ole Miss team on a, second game of the first weekend, like I could see some weird things happening, with this team and their coach Chris Beard.
I
Let me see
kind
where
of
they're
agree
at.
with that. I kind of
Like a
agree
6
with that.
seed, like this, 6 seed, like that. I think that plays.
Mm-hmm.
Does that give you? Does that give you
You're
like
gonna
a
play
top
somebody
seed second game?
decent.
You're going to play a 3, or you're going to play a 3 or a 14. So like Texas Tech is projected in the field of 6. Texas Tech and Ole Miss, that's going to be a barn burner, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be interesting.